Okay, I am home from vacation, but that doesn't mean to expect regular uploads again, because I do still need to go to the Smash and Splash 4, Smash, Splatoon, I think there's like ARMS and Fighters and maybe one other fighting game. I have to go to that thing. It's a tournament, I'm gonna have fun, that's fine, but that's another few days where I can't really make videos, and it's gonna take a couple days to recover from that. So, beyond this video, do look out for another episode of Kingdom Hearts on Friday, and then soon after that I'll start getting into a pretty regular upload schedule. Don't worry, I do have plenty of ideas for new Xenoblade videos, and a couple that actually aren't that or Let's Plays for the near future. I'm going to be doing plenty of stuff in the summer, but that's not what we're here to worry about. Because a few days ago, I'm not even going to bother looking up the actual date, we got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 version 1.4.1, and I did completely predict that this was going to happen. In my previous video where I talked about that whole big game-crashing bug with a certain level 4 special, I thought 1.4.1 was just going to fix that, but it actually didn't, which is the really interesting thing. We got a couple other bug fixes, but we also got 5 new side quests. Now, the thing is, I actually knew that these side quests, and in specific, one of the major rewards for one of them, had been data mined, because I was following along with the data mine stuff up until we learned about 2 of the new rare blades and a small info on the story DLC. Now, I do know the identities of presumably the next 2 rare blades we're going to get, and the general concept behind the story DLC, but please refrain from mentioning those in the comments or asking me to do videos covering them, because I do want to go in as unspoiled as possible in how those blades play, and in the story DLC itself. So I'm not going to actually be talking about that, but I do know what some of that stuff is, and actually a little bit about the new challenge mode as well, and one of the rewards from that. And I expected 1.4.1, okay, that's just going to fix that. The one bug. Then we'd get a 1.5 in the future that had the new side quests that I thought that were released this time. I thought this was going to be a later update. We'd have those side quests and those next 2 rare blades, and then later than that we'd get challenge mode, and later than that we'd get story DLC. But apparently I was completely wrong, because we got the next set of 5 quests now instead. Maybe as an apology for the whole bug thing, or something like that, or maybe the new rare blades, or the story DLC, or challenge mode is taking a little longer, so they just pushed up quests, since those are significantly easier to do. But anyway, we got a few interesting things. 3 bug fixes. First off, the game crash. That was good. That made 1.4 actually not my favorite version of the game so far, even though it did add new content, because it had such a big glaring bug, and now that all the QOL updates that have been accumulating since the release are all put together, and that bug is fixed, I think this is actually the best running version of the game so far. It also said it fixed an issue causing affinity rewards that had already been received to be received again when reforging bonds with rare blades. I assume that means releasing and not overdriving, where sometimes it would screw up and you would unlock nodes on the affinity chart a second time or something, or they'd be locked again. I've never seen that bug happen myself, but it is a good bug to have fixed. And then it fixed an issue causing blades not to use their standby motions when blade switching in the field. That's just a fancy way of saying there was a bug where if you did the ZL thing to switch your active blade, they wouldn't do their idle animation correctly sometimes, and it fixed that. So that's okay. The first 2 are actual bug fixes. I'd never heard of anyone even noticing the 3rd one, but okay. The game works better now, that's good. And that's all fine and good. I have no problem with that. But we did get a few more side quests. The first of which, Blacksmith's Harmony, available after Chapter 3, Celebrity's Hat, available after Chapter 5. Now, those 2 are just basically normal quests with good rewards. But we got 3 more really good ones. Also, these are DLC-only quests. I don't think I ever specifically mentioned that, but you do need the expansion pass to get these. And at this point, I don't know how many people who are actually still waiting out for the story DLC. I would have actually waited out for the story DLC if we didn't get a Finch quest in like 1.2, but that's besides the point. Anyway, creating a love source, available after Chapter 7. Now, the only reason this is available after Chapter 7 is because you do need to go to the main Titan of Chapter 6 in order to get one of the materials in order to create said love source. Normally, I think it just involves, other than that, like Gormat, Morardane, and Zeke to be in the party. So it's specifically because you need to go to that Titan and you need to get past certain story progression things. that you need to do that. But creating Love Source is a very, very, very good thing, because the Love Source itself, while it does require a specific key item that you have to make a new Love Source and then go get the item again, it's like a red item and not a regular collectible, the other items to make it are collectible, it is a replacement to Naponcho grinding. Normally, in order to spam raise affinity with your rare blades, or with your common blades if you wanted to use them, you would need to grind up by purchasing Naponchos from a Fonset Village shop and just spam feeding your blade with that. Those would only give, like, 18 to 21 trust. There are a lot of good items in Fonset that you can use. Naponchos are just the most cost-efficient one. I think Naponchos are 18, and there are a couple 21s that cost a lot more. In order to get a blade to rank S+, which is the highest level of affinity, you need over 56,000 points of affinity. When a Naponcho is 18 points, it's going to take a while. However, the Love Source itself is 3,000 points of affinity on its own, and you can, if you grind up the materials enough, get a bunch of them. You just need to go back and forth between making them and then picking up the one item that has to respawn. This is good, especially if you're not going above and beyond and getting S+ trust on every blade, but you're just going to finish the affinity charts and get S. For the most part, in order to get S, which is completing the affinity chart will raise affinity to S, but sometimes you do need a certain trust level to unlock like the last tier of nodes, that's usually never over like 11,000, 12,000 D. I've never seen anything beyond that. It might be possible for commons, but I don't use commons, so what do I know? That's great. Within 4 of these, you can completely unlock every node on a Blade's affinity chart and then just send them on Ursula missions in order to just completely finish everything. That's great. It does completely fix the affinity grind. It obviously takes a long time still to get love sources, but it's orders of magnitude faster than Naponcho grinding, and you won't wear out your controller's A button by doing this, so, you know, it's pretty good. And then beyond that, you also get 2 post-game quests. You have to have finished Chapter 10 in order to unlock these. First one is Mercenary's Law, which, after Chapter 10, completed the expansion pass Pack 2's quest called Beneath the Aurora, which is, so this is seems to be a successor to a previous DLC quest, which is interesting. Quest chains weren't really that big of a thing in the main game, and the fact that they're getting added in as DLC is actually kind of interesting. And then we've got Mercible Islet's Powerful Foe. That sounds like a very Leftherian name. Also available after Chapter 10, and you need Zenobia in your party just in general, Electra with her Electric Mastery maxed out to level 5, and Herald with her Rampage maxed out to level 5. So this is another DLC Pack 2 type quest where it's a supplementary, non-voiced thing throwing a bunch of rare blades together. So that's all cool. Unfortunately, that kind of completely throws out my predictions as to when we're going to get things like Challenge Mode or the new rare blades or even the story DLC, but this does, in fact, give me a different idea. We might actually get some Xenoblade 2 news at E3, which isn't something I initially expected. I thought it was going to be confined to directs and stuff, but if they're holding out all of the good forms of the DLC, we might, in fact, like, actually get a small trailer for it at E3. Granted, it depends on whether or not Monolith Soft is revealing their new project, or however many games Nintendo's actually going to be showing off, but if they want to patch up a hole in their schedule, we could actually see our first trailer for something like Challenge Mode, or possibly even the story DLC, at E3 itself. Now, from what I do know about the story DLC, it will actually be pretty involved in stuff, so they might actually pull a Champion's Ballad with us and, like, not show it off until right before it released, like the Champion's Ballad did, but who knows about that? And that's really all I've got to say. So until Friday, when you'll see an episode of Kingdom Hearts, and until the week after, when I'll start uploading regular Xenoblade and maybe even beyond content, this is Luxon, signing off.